This is At the Extremes.
Beloved, welcome back to At the Extremes, the podcast where we discuss the extremes in our society and how we got here. As always, we're your hosts, Greg.
And Serge.
And we're finishing off the series on Wranglerstar. For now. Ooh. We may return. We're definitely going to be returning at some point in time. I can assure you, this guy he's a never-ending hole of content.
Yeah.
So, Sergio, this is an episode for us to kind of debrief on Wranglerstar and Cody, and talk about some of the things that got left on the cutting room floor. We're going to close this unfortunately infuriating chapter of this podcast.
Perfect.
So, Sergio, before we get into Cody, I want to check in with you. It's been a week in our school systems, nationally and locally, and I just want to check in with you and see, how are the teachers that you work with? How are they holding up? How are you and your staff holding up? Take as long as you need to discuss it, because I feel like this is such an important topic that not a lot of people hear firsthand accounts around.
I mean, thank you for asking that question. It's been a really hard couple weeks transitioning back into school. There's just a lot of big behaviors. There's a lot of kids that need a lot of help. Baltimore County is saying that we're on a financial cliff because we're not getting COVID money. That's running out. And so they're going to redo the budget and figure all of the things out. I think we're going to get medical marijuana money next month.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
That's big.
Or not next school year. And so... it was heavy. We've, with what happened in Maryland, the one young man getting killed inside of the high school was pretty heavy. Some of the schools in Baltimore County had to go on lockdowns for threatening stuff. And, we've just all been kind of talking about how difficult it is for children to be alive.
Exist.
To exist during this time, just because... With social media and kind of that addiction, there's this whole new thing about trying to ban cell phones from schools to try to, see how to navigate that and how kids will respond to it. And then just the violence that continues to happen at school, not only what happened in Georgia, a few days ago, and, what happened here in Maryland.
Yeah.
It's just mind-numbing to think that there's people that can change things around so that this stuff doesn't happen, and it still continues to happen, and all we do is pray for the children until we wait for the next big incident to happen, and it's awful. So it's pretty tough right now. We are going to probably start loading up on a lot of antidepressants, and it's going to get dark in the next as we go off daylight savings. I just kid. But it's been a difficult school year, probably for me for the first time in 7 years. I think this has probably been one of the more difficult ones. But
we're only a couple of weeks in.
I know.
Jesus Christ, man.
Hopefully, it will start to settle down, and kids will start to get accustomed to kind of who we are. I mean, incidents will happen throughout the year, but we'll try to just be ahead of it and try to build those relationships with the students and try to get them to make different choices.
Get out ahead of it as much as you can.
Yeah. So, but we're good. It's, I'm lucky I have a good team of coworkers that are really supportive, and we definitely take care of each other.
Good. Yeah. Good. I'm glad to hear that. And, it's one of those things. I was talking with some colleagues about it, and to not even like the line of work that I'm in, you don't think about that kind of thing, just because one, I work from home primarily. Two, you
don't have kids.
I don't have children. And so like, it's not something that you think about on a daily basis, but like when I think about my friends who are like, oh yeah, I got to send my kid off to school. Do we give them a cell phone? Do we make sure, do we petition the school to make sure that the cell phones are in their hands the entire time? Does that create a distraction? Does that create conflict? Like, how does that work? And
totally.
I just,
I think of it like this, man. Like, since having children, I've worked with kids pretty much my whole life.
Right.
But, my kid's school, once there was two adults getting in a fist fight outside of her school. And so they locked down the school. And she was too young to kind of really kind of recognized what was going on. And she's like, oh, they turned the lights and we were just hiding. But at the school that she's at now, there was a robbery at a 7-Eleven, across the street. And so they locked the school down. And she was really scared. I was like, man, in my however many years I was in school, I never went in a lockdown.
Not once.
Yeah, that wasn't part of it. We did earthquake drills where you would sit under a desk.
Because that's going to help.
That's going to help when the roof collapses on you.
Yeah, to be buried even further.
Yeah, exactly. Or stand, in the door jam or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, we never had to do that stuff. And it's just really sad that's part of our, experience and existence now is that, kids have to worry about getting shot at school.
I think I remember reading something on formerly Twitter. They were talking about, I forget who it was, and forgive me for that, but basically the guy said something, the tweet said something to the effect of, once we decided that kids getting shot at Sandy Hook was okay and did nothing about it, we lost the battle.
Oh, yeah.
Like when kids that small are being mowed down, and
26 kids, mostly kindergartners and first graders,
and you decide that that's okay.
Yeah.
As a nation, like we collectively, even though those of us who protest and stomp our feet about gun rights and gun regulations and things like that, and the common sense laws, once we decided that we're going to continue to vote for people who push this kind of thing, we lost the war.
And also too, just thinking to go along with what you're saying, Alex Jones and the way that he treated people and would, say that they're crisis actors and have people harassing these parents who had a hugely traumatic loss in their lives. And that's going around on the internet. And he finally is being held accountable, but he's still saying fucking crazy shit.
He still says he wasn't the guy who pulled the gun, pulled the trigger. It's like, dude, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's the, God, here's the thing, like, I will get into the episode here in a second, but I just feel like we need to put like an exclamation point on this. Like when we were in middle school and high school, and the shooting in Colorado happened. Columbine, and I remember, everybody at the school at the time was talking about, well, it's just a one-off thing. You don't have to worry about it. It's not a big deal. And to put myself into a kid's position today going, well, it's a frequent everyday occurrence. Like in 20 years we've gone, or 20, 25 years, whatever it is, I forget now. We've gone from a place of, this is a super rare thing that doesn't happen very often. It's somebody who's crazy or whatever, to turns out like it happens all the time now, and you can't go to work as a teacher or a social worker or a resource officer or whatever and not think to yourself like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's especially in the United States. I mean, there's other instances that happen in Europe, England. There was the stabbing that happened, but that's at a lot kind of smaller level, and it doesn't have the same kind of. I mean, yes, you can do multiple damage with stabbing, but just with guns, just open up a whole different level of just
unnecessary deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Alex Jones would say, I think I've heard him say on a show, because I am a masochist, but like I've listened to his show so many times where he talks about like, oh, well, cars kill more people than guns do. Do we all outlaw guns? I think, Alex, you're missing the point. The point isn't, an everyday item that people use to get back and forth. Sometimes, yes, people die, and that's an unfortunate reality that we all accept. But the fact that you're saying, oh, well, it's just a fact of life that children have to die in school, that's not something that people in general are okay with, I think. But anyway, I digress.
Oh, totally. And just the whole... Well, I could get into a whole rant about car accidents and, how much drinking and driving, and why do we allow people to continue to drive when they've had 5 or 6, DUIs, as opposed to Europe, where if you get one, you get a huge, you can't drive for a year or something. Yeah. If you do it again, you're banned for life from being able to drive.
Yeah. Common sense.
Yeah. So,
but that's the state. Please don't do that.
No.
Actually, don't talk about the state. I appreciate, your insight. I appreciate your vulnerability around it. I know that it's not super easy being in the school system at this time. and I appreciate the work that you do, because not a lot of us can fully understand and grasp what you guys do in and out of schools every day. And it's just, man.
It's hard work. It's really hard work. Yeah. And, you just see a lot of the students that if there was more resources and, if teachers were really, and, people that worked in schools were truly appreciated and valued, that, our society would provide those kind of resources. To really help,
the law, maybe.
Yeah, or just to help kids be successful. Yeah. And there's just such a push from really rich people to continue to defund public schools and to really not try to educate people of color or immigrants and stuff like that. They want to get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah, it's I feel like we could probably do several hours worth of this if we had, if we wanted to.
Well, it's part of Project 2025.
Yeah. Well, oh God. Yeah. Well, Sergio, I think, to kind of help transition us here, let's go ahead and take a real quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about Cody and try to lighten the mood a little bit for ourselves.
Yeah, we haven't even laughed at all.
Yeah, not yet. All right, we'll be right back. And we're back. We are back. So Sergio, I think I've mentioned it before, but there's a subreddit dedicated to Cody. It's called Wranglerstar. And
how many people are members of this subreddit?
I think several 100,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's got a lot of people who don't like him. But he also, gosh, I'll say this. He's had so many people watching him for so long that people have taken notice on all the times that he's lied about being a medic or his past history with the Forest Service and all that other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead real quick and show you a real quick clip, compilation clip here.
Well, one of the things that I think is wild is that I guess when you become more and more famous, you can forget what's actually going on. But to have the thought that this is all recorded and people are going to be able to find it and look it up. So you might as well try to be as honest or just say, I don't remember quite the details, but this is what I remember.
Right. Yeah. So there, I just double checked real quick. There are 5,000 people who are part of the subreddit. So, people just don't like this guy.
He's got kind of a punchable face.
He's definitely got a punchable face. I'll go ahead and play the clip.
To make a quick retraction, there's a big controversy brewing. I want to make sure I get out ahead of this. Yes, I am not technically a paramedic.
Hey, look at me.
Retraction, there's a big controversy brewing. I want to make sure I get out ahead of this. Yes, I am not technically a paramedic.
Hey, look at me. I'm a paramedic.
I blurted that out, so I want to give an apology for that. There was a lot of people that were really upset about that. I wouldn't have probably left that in a normal video, but I'm trying to travel and edit with my phone, and mistakes happen. So I apologize for that. It was not my intent to represent myself in a way that I am not. But I'm a trained medic, and I understand a lot of these things, and that's it. So if you were offended, then I do apologize. If I hadn't have stopped, it would a lot of these things, that's it. So if you were offended, then I do apologize.
He's totally flustered.
If I hadn't have stopped,
it's because he's a fucking idiot. There's something about somebody who is I know that I've told a white lie. You know what I mean?
I've blatantly lied, to get myself out of trouble.
Absolutely. I've done it twice today.
Yeah.
In this podcast. But I've never been like, hey, I know that your car is on fire, but I need you to know I'm a medic. I can take care of you.
Yeah.
What?
That'd be pretty awesome if you just said, I'm a doctor.
Yeah. Is there a doctor on the plane? Yep.
Right here.
That's me. Let's go and finish this clip.
Or done anything, there wouldn't have been any controversy. So the old adage of no good deed goes unpunished is very true. So thanks for watching. Sorry for that if you were upset about it. That's what happened. So
That's what happens. You lie about your ability to, take care of people and save them from burning cars. Yeah. He's just such a dildo. So
what a great word. Dildo.
Dildo. That's a good one. So he talks a lot about, and you've heard this podcast, the previous episode about women and his relationship with women and his sister. He has a sister, and I didn't know he had a sister until I was doing some really deep digging rather. Sorry. Yeah. He's got one, and she's like a liberal woman who's got a bunch of degrees and all this other stuff. So I'm going to go and show
you. It's like Mitch McConnell's ex-wife and his children, right? That hate him.
Yeah. Let's see. So she is one of those people that he warns you about. Her name on YouTube is Fresh Princess.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So she's
they got great names.
Yeah, dude. The thing about this family is they're incredibly good at marketing themselves.
Super talented at coming up with great names.
Yeah, absolutely. So she has a lot of things about how to make your own soups and things like that. And she's actually been featured on his channel before.
Oh, really?
And vice versa. Yeah. So he has a sister, and she's got her own YouTube channel, and she's been featured on his channel a bunch. And vice versa, actually. But one of the things that we've discussed about Cody is that he is always loaded to the gills with guns all the time. He almost blew his sister's head off.
Jeez, I mean, I'm not surprised.
And what happened to me the other night, so my sister Corinne had come up from so she's going to school in Northern California, and she came up, and I took her out to dinner. And we went to dinner at a place that was probably about 40 minutes from my house. We met there, and we had a nice time and said our goodbyes. I dropped her off at the house, and the baby was with me. And so on our way home, we stopped.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've told you this. He has a baby, a 4 or 5 year old girl.
A baby.
Yeah, she's he calls her the sweet loaf. He calls her Sweet Loaf, and the rumor on the internet is that is not actually his child or Mrs. Wranglerstar's child, but they adopted a daughter. So I'm not really sure why they say that, because who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that Cody presents himself as this not viral, but virile, full of testosterone, can get any woman pregnant type.
Balls full of jizz, ready to impregnate everybody.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of where this comes from, this hate around, or not hate, but the idea that oh well, it's not his actual daughter anyway.
Yeah.
To get gas. That was the only stop that I made on the way back up to the house, which was about 45-minute drive. Well, we were driving up there, and of course, I'm always CCW, but I didn't have it on me. Sometimes I take it off and I'll put it in a bag that I carry, or I'll lock it in the center console. It's just not comfortable to wear all the time. So I had done that, and I didn't even take it into the restaurant, which I will not make that mistake again. I left it in the truck, and I thought, I just don't want to deal with it. I know the people around here. You just never know.
So this guy who preaches being prepared for any scenario, leaves his gun in his car that could be stolen, and then his gun could be taken from him. Also, I know the people in this neighborhood, they're not going to shoot at me. Well, Cody, I thought the whole thing was that everyone's a danger, but that's just me.
A little hypocritical.
Just a tad bit.
So I locked it in the console, right? Well, the baby and I were driving home, and we're coming down a driveway, and just talking and not paying attention, and all of a sudden I look up, and there's a strange car in the driveway, and I thought, what in the, parked right in front of my house. And then I see inside, someone's inside the house, and Mrs. W and Jack are at the debate. They're out of town.
Oh, his son is I think his son actually won a debate challenge, a debate tournament.
Okay.
So
oh, it's not actually the presidential debate. Okay.
No. So I think his son has ambitions of getting into politics. But
cool.
Yeah. So you can imagine what kind of politics Cody pushes on his son.
Yeah.
No, it's not them. I don't recognize this car, and man, it freaked me out. And I've got my daughter with me. And I hadn't considered that. I always thought, find myself in a situation like that. You go in there and take care of business, but I hadn't dawned on me. No, my number one priority has got nothing to do with this house or possessions.
So the guy who preaches about fucking
the crawl space where you could have a machine gun to just like blow everybody up and you won't get hit behind 4 inches or 5 inches of concrete.
Yeah. The guy who
or 5 feet of concrete. I don't know how much concrete.
I mean, who gives a shit?
It's the most concrete, the thickest concrete.
Listen, folks, you can have as much concrete as you want, but they're never gonna get you. So the guy who literally will sit there and tell you about like his loadouts and his when I go to Portland, I'm always strapped and blah, 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 blah. I'm ready for action at any point in time. Fumbles around in his car trying to figure out who's in his house. Like, what? And then he realizes, oh, well, maybe like shooting at someone isn't worth my time. Maybe I should just, I don't know, fucking leave.
Yeah.
My number one priority is to take care of this little girl who's with me, right? So
not get into a firefight.
I pulled up
Well, I totally see too. If he was really serious about it, he would go pull his car way far back and go right.
Come out double gun, like Call of Duty style.
Yeah.
Expecting it. It caught me off guard. It's late. It's like 10 o'clock at night. There's a stranger inside my house. There's a strange car parked in front of me, and now I'm in the dark in the cab trying to figure out what to do, and I'm trying to get in my center console, and it's just everything's just not working out very good at all. I'm just wasting time.
I'll tell you why. It's because he was fucking drunk.
I was just going to ask you that. How much of this content throughout? Are there times where you can tell he's under the influence, or
no? But he talks a lot about his struggles with alcohol.
Okay.
Fair play to him. I think he's clean, which is good for him. Honestly, it's that whole, again, bad things can happen to bad people, good things can happen to bad people, and you can feel empathy for a bad person. I can feel empathy for someone who's struggling with addiction, even if you are a terrible human being. Addiction is a terrible monster, but that doesn't mean that you're any less of a monster. But yeah, he does talk about his alcoholism quite a bit.
I was just thinking, if he has these extreme thoughts right now and he's, not under the influence, but just think if he's fucking wasted out of his mind and just how out of control you could get because your emotions just aren't in the same kind of check there when you're when you're drinking.
Yeah. Well, and I think the reason why he was fumbling around and this is a guy who's always prepared. He's got a lockbox for a lockbox kind of guy. What is his motto? 1 is none and 2 is 1 kind of thing. This is a guy who is supposed to be sharp all the time, right? That's how he presents himself. And the fact that he's fumbling around in a center console in his truck where he's supposed to have the key to it, he's supposed to know how to access it very quickly. I'll say this, Cody, if you're in a firefight with somebody, you can't unlock the center console. You've been dead for a while. Yeah. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And I'm also, my daughter's picking up on how disturbing this is to me, and she's starting to, she's feeling it, and she's starting, to get nervous and coming over it, and the whole thing was just turning into
Dad's breath was smelling like beer the whole time.
Super prepared.
Like some Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I just put it in reverse. I'm just going to back out. I'm going to back out, and I had my phone right there, and I still couldn't get, in my truck, I've got a center console, but it has a vault in there. It's a factory vault that has a 4-digit code on there, and they're the little roller wheels. It's mechanical. But I got my stupid contacts on, so I can't see up close.
That's the problem, Cody.
My flashlight's in there, and I can't see it, and I can't get the numbers out. I mean, it was a real lesson for me of what not to do. The only thing I could really think to do was I backed out. Our driveway's long; it's probably 100 yards long or so. I backed out.
Unnecessary detail.
Huge.
My buddy down, which is we've kind of talked about helping each other if these things happen.
Bring your guns, man.
Save me.
I'm a man who's supposed to be able to handle every situation. I need another man to save me, please.
Help!
I don't need the police. I am the police, except for when I need the police.
Or my neighbor.
Or definitely my neighbor. My militia. I need my militia.
My methed out neighbor.
Yeah, seriously.
In the driveway, I've got the baby with me. I need some backup. I don't know what's going on here. This is a bad situation. He's like, I'll be there in 2 minutes. And well, what happened was it was my sister.
No way.
I had just dropped her off at her house, 40 minutes away. there would be absolutely no reason why. I know what her car looks like, but it didn't even dawn on me that it would be her. And it was her.
I know what my sister's car looks like, but it never registered to me that it could be my sister.
She had left her phone in my truck, and she realized it immediately. She couldn't call me because she didn't have the phone. We had stopped for gas, and in so doing, she got ahead of us and was a couple minutes ahead of us because of the gas.
Also, Cody, you leave your house unlocked? Unless your sister's got a key to your home, you leave your house unlocked, dog?
Yeah, man.
What the fuck are you doing, dog?
Breaking all his rules.
Oh, God, he's such a fucking, fraud. Oh, God.
Why would he even put that on there?
Because he's a fucking moron. Cody's an idiot.
Clearly, there's some stuff you're like, wow, yeah, this is catchy.
Yeah.
This is cool. Yeah. And then you're just like, why are you posting yourself
right
looking like an idiot?
If the whole point is to, if it's brand, stay on brand. You're the guy, you're the man. You are the man. You're supposed to be the guy. You're supposed to be the big dick in the room at all times.
Yeah.
Don't show yourself being vulnerable, idiot.
Yeah.
I don't care if you...
Who protects their children?
In the world that I live in, children protect themselves. Oh, God. It won't surprise you at all to find out that Cody is indeed a conspiracy theorist. God.
That's a stretch.
You never put that together, did you? So he does these live streams, and he takes... on YouTube, you can pay the person you're subscribed to for it puts your questions and commentary to the top of their list. So super chat kind of stuff. And so
you would totally do that because you wouldn't have to wait in line.
I would not have to wait in line. You know what? Let's take a break from that real quick. I fucking hate drivers. I pay to avoid lines at all costs. And if you're in my way, you're creating a line. And as far as I'm concerned, you should die.
Craig doesn't do lines.
I don't do lines. I don't wait for anything unless I want to. And I will pay to avoid. Anyway, back to Cody. So Cody's a dick. And he takes questions from subscribers all the time on these live streams. And on this one, he gets a chat from a conspiracy guy.
Hello from England. I really enjoy your content and wisdom. Thank you. I'm curious as to your thoughts on chemtrails, real or conspiracy.
Wisdom. Some guy used wisdom with him.
Something to it. I don't know how you can deny it. There's now that we have on social media, if you
the fluoride,
spending time on Instagram or not Instagram, but
here we
TikTok,
go. Yep. Wherever all the truth is told.
YouTube Shorts. There's a lot of people putting up a lot of evidence.
So that kind of tells you where he gets his news from. It's info. I've seen him watching InfoWars on election night. He gets his information on science from TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Meanwhile, anyone who took a 10-minute glance on Google could tell you that chemtrails aren't an actual thing. They are the there's a particle that gets distorted in the upper atmosphere when a jet goes through it, and that's it. It's now there are people who do cloud seeding and things like that, but they're not dumping out gigantic amounts of magnesium and things that are getting causing cancer, which is what he's going to imply here.
The thing is, but people still believe that there's a flat Earth.
Yeah, I think he might be one of them. If I'm being honest with you, I think Cody might be a flat earther too. I think he's at this weird mix of religion, esoteric belief about flat Earth, inner Earth, all these conspiracy theories, and then he's definitely what is it? An early Earth, what is it? The creationist thought around it, So he believes that the Earth is
only built in 7 days or whatever.
Yeah, 2,400 years old, 2,024 years old is how old the Earth is. He's he's one of those types of people. So he's got this weird amalgamation of beliefs that kind of you never really know where he's going with anything. And
he seems like he's a total a more laid back version of Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Just because Jones does all that stuff, and
for sure,
but he's just so over the top, and he's believe
Turn
that
the frogs
stuff.
gay.
It's a gay bomb.
Yeah. He doesn't do any of that, but he definitely like he
would say it in a calm voice and just be like, "Oh yeah."
Well, there might be something to that. Like that's how he like plates it for you, like to go.
I've seen a lot of gay frogs jumping around, and
it turns out they might be, I don't know, fluoride is in the water, and fluoride, rots your teeth.
5G.
Yeah, those telephone poles, man, they'll get you. Boy. So there was somebody on the anti-Wranglerstar subreddit. I think the post was, if Alex Jones and Bob Vila had a baby, it would be this guy.
I like Bob Vila.
Bob Vila's a solid. You know what? Maybe Bob Vila isn't a good guy, so I'm not going to say he's a good guy, but he seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question that they're spraying something. This is beyond question anymore. You can see it, and the crisscross patterns and all that. There's a lot of footage of even people that are following. Now that people are actually waking up to this and starting to pay attention and filming this stuff, there's many videos out there where you can see where they turn when they turn it on and turn it off. People will say, "Oh, it's just vapor trails." So there is some of that, but there's no question. What it is.
The airplanes are vaping.
Aluminum, metals, and things in it. I mean, all this is being tested, but it has something to do with I don't know if it's weather control or I don't know what it is.
So, and that's right where you should stop, Cody. Like, stop with that. I don't really know what it is. I think there might be something to it, but I'm not sure.
But just what makes you qualified? I watch this guy on YouTube that says that it's this. And I know it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, like, you remember, like, he prefaced all this by saying, "Oh, there's something to it." Like, you see it all the time on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Like, he's like creating like the circular logic of like, "Oh, well, if it's on this, it must be true." So I'll go ahead and spout this dumb shit on YouTube, and I'll cut it up, I'll clip it up, and I'll put it on the internet for people to think it's true.
Well, yeah, I guess if we're all being honest, like I basically think I'm a plumber now because I watch so many plumbing videos on YouTube. I feel like I can fucking solder things and I can clamp stuff.
An underwater soldering machine that you've got now.
Dude, I tried to just put on my like shower cap and I fucked that up. I was like, so I'm definitely not a plumber, but for every time I watch a YouTube short, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd definitely do it like that. I'm going to sweat it.
What's the most advanced plumbing project that you've had so far?
God, it was not that big of a deal, but I replaced the faucet and on a pedestal sink.
Okay,
and
that's not nothing.
So I had to take the pedestal apart, take the whole the faucet off, put on the new drain, and I caulked it. It was not caulked against the wall, so I did that.
Oh, that's not nothing now.
And I caulked around the toilet too because I read that you should, or I saw it on YouTube Shorts that you should that you should do that just because. For guys, you piss on the floor and then you get like piss underneath the toilet and it stinks.
Yep.
And if the toilet floods, you just leave a little open in the back. It'll either go down, you'll see it through the ceiling, or it'll be some water through the back. So
yep. Solid advice.
Heck yeah. YouTube Shorts for the win.
Did you while they were talking through that, did they talk to you about anything about chemtrails?
A little bit. There's something to it.
I'm being red pilled through plumbing shorts.
I don't know. It seems sinister to me, but there's no question, especially around the urban areas. People are saying we haven't seen a blue sky. I can't even remember the last time.
You live in the Northwest.
Dude, what are you talking about, Cody? Yeah, exactly. You live in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, you have forest fires too. It's smoggy all the time.
Right. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. It's constantly raining. Yeah, no, of course. Most people don't see clear skies up there, you fucking dildo.
Yeah, this has moved way beyond conspiracy theory at this point.
Yeah, of course it has, Cody.
Why?
I can prove it.
I don't know. And, maybe it's something... maybe the government knows something that we don't.
Yeah, I love that.
I do. They know a lot of things that you don't know.
I think a fourth grader knows a lot of things that you don't know, Cody. You fucking dick. Look at his dumb face there. Look at it, like the way he's staring off into the distance.
The government.
Yeah, like he thinks he's waxing, philosophical here. Like he thinks he's taking it to the next level, but really he's just He is like a minor league Alex Jones. He's on the bench all the time. He's the backup kicker for Alex Jones.
Hell yeah.
People like to think that, they know something and they're trying to protect people. I don't know that. I don't trust that. I almost think that it's probably something more nefarious, if I had to guess. And the thing that really staggers me is, let's say that it is for...
Finish that thought.
Being done for a negative, to do something negative or to hurt people, whether to hurt crops or whatever. I don't know. Think about the men and women that are involved in actively doing it.
Yeah, think about that, Cody. How many people would need to keep this thing secret in order for it to like be pulled off as an actual conspiracy? I can't tell my wife to not talk to her friend about what present I'm buying without her leaking it. Who do you think? Like, do you think
Donald Trump? Like things were leaked all the time on him.
Right. This was the leader of the free world who couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut. Are you kidding me? This guy would have absolutely leaked that the government was spraying chemicals in the atmosphere if it was a real deal. He wanted to talk about UFOs and aliens all the time. What are you talking about, you buff? The amount of people that need to keep it secret or have to die in order to keep it secret, there would be no one left, Cody, you fucking moron.
Well, my favorite that Trump did was when he tried to say the path of the Hurricane Maria was going in this direction. And he just used a Sharpie. And
extended it. Oh my God, it's so good.
And it was just like,
to
who
justify
the fuck
himself.
does that?
A self-righteous lunatic.
That guy, a genius, a stable genius.
My uncle used to go to MIT. That makes me qualified to talk about the weather.
He knows about cloudiology.
Cloudiology.
I'm surprised, and that's the one thing that makes it somewhat hard to believe, is I'm surprised that someone hasn't come forward that on their deathbed.
Yeah, I'm surprised too.
Just a conviction, because they've got their families have to live here as well. So if they are poisoning, as some people say, they're poisoning their own country. They're poisoning their own countrymen. What type of a person would be able to do something like that? I'm really shocked that people haven't come out, but I don't know the grip.
I don't know if this is true or not, but it would be crazy if it was.
Yeah.
Families, I don't know, but people will do a lot to protect their livelihoods. But I'm surprised that someone hasn't come out and said something about it. It doesn't happen up here where we're at. We still have beautiful blue skies. I haven't seen any of that, but I've seen a lot of it around urban areas.
I've seen it in urban areas, but I haven't seen it out here in an urban area in Washington. Like, you're 40 minutes away from Portland, you piece of shit. What are you talking about?
God.
He's such a fucking knob at the highest of the highest order. Like, genuinely, I cannot stand this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out he's also an anti-Semite.
I mean, there's always the things where you just
assume.
Yeah, you try not to assume,
but you can't help yourself sometimes.
Yeah, you kind of know. You know his type.
Yeah, yeah. He. So, like, he doesn't say anything. Well, I'll just let him talk for himself. I won't speak for him.
What did he say? The Holocaust isn't real?
Yeah, I think he does say that at some point in time.
Oh my God!
Why are so many of our young men moving so hard to the right? Well, I can tell you. Where else do they have to go? How long in our schools have you been telling them that they're broken, toxic masculinity, that they need to change, developing curriculum designed for
You're shaking your head, and I just need to pause and hear what your thoughts are.
Toxic masculinity?
Yeah, they teach it in school now.
He's the epitome of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, at the highest order.
What does he think toxic masculinity is?
I think he is one of those people who watches Fox News and hears
it's critical black theory.
Exactly.
No, it's critical race theory.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys who hears those hot button words and uses it because he knows he gets his viewership to get angry and keep on watching.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a lot like Alex Jones in that way, where he knows like what's going to make the people move.
Now buy my dick pills.
Yep. I've got Viagra.
Forcing these boys to conform to this, even though anyone with any sense at all knows that boys and girls should never be educated together.
They should be in the kitchen.
Oh my God, dude. Like, this is one of his, like, for me, at least, like, in terms of, like, just the most absurd shit you hear. This is one of his better videos.
This is Dave Chappelle. It's the I never went in and stomped my feet on his couch.
Yeah.
I remember going in there and stomping my feet on his couch.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, he's a class act.
Because they learn very differently. And when they won't conform, when they won't act and behave like little girls, then you drug them. You put them in an economy.
He doesn't even know what toxic masculinity is.
No, he doesn't.
He just is saying it, and he has no idea what it actually even means.
At all. Not one bit. He has no clue what he's talking about. I think I clicked on the wrong link, but we're just going to keep on watching this anyway.
This is a good one.
It's got all the bangers in it.
To climb out of it, or to have a wife, or to buy a home or land or property. When girls are so corrupted and destroyed by social media with unrealistic standards that they won't even
Agreed.
take a look
Agree with
at
that.
a normal guy on their own level.
Don't understand what that means.
What are they supposed to do? And where are they supposed to go?
Jesus.
And then not only
Yep.
that, you've got them
To the house, to the
in
kitchen.
public schools being led and mentored by women.
Yep.
There we
Even
go.
the good book tells us that it is unnatural and unright for a man to be instructed by a woman. And yet
I have to stop it there. I'm laughing so fucking hard. I genuinely, like, he is
Toxic masculinity.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you for saying it. Oh my God. He's like, I don't know what they're talking about. Toxic masculinity. Anyway, women, they're fucking stupid and they don't belong in schools with boys because boys learn different from girls. Okay. We can agree to that. That might
Their
be a little.
brains are smaller.
Yeah. We can agree that maybe boys and girls learn a little differently in elementary school, but for the most part, it's
They're a lot better behaved and listen.
Yeah,
and boys are punching each other and running around and can't sit down.
Yeah. Maybe there is something to, like, the fact that, like, okay, maybe boys need to be ran a little harder before they sit down. But you know what? They all belong in the same schoolroom. I don't know what you're fucking talking about, Cody.
teachers, if not, well, the great majority of them are females, not understanding anything about boys or men or how they should be educated. There was a time in our history.
He also looks like a railroad conductor.
Yes, he just needs a hat.
Yeah, all he needs is the hat. It's such a fucking absurd outfit. Oh God, I hate him.
His buttons they're like halfway down the bottom of his chest.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's flexing real hard for his militia boys.
Long ago, when there was a group of people that were mistreated, that were so unfairly put upon that they had no other choice but to rebel.
Hell yeah. Oh, did you hear that?
What was the result?
All right. Here we go.
Or how they should be educated.
Listen to this part.
There was a time in our history not very long ago when there was a group of people that were mistreated, that were so unfairly put upon that they had no other choice but to rebel.
Because I know where this goes. Do you know, just based on that information alone, who do you think he's talking about?
Oh, the Chinese, the Indians, African Americans, Catholics.
How about the Nazis?
And what was the result of that? An entire world at war. Beloved, history repeats itself.
I don't disagree with you, Cody, but I don't think the Nazis are who you want to say are the good guys in this story, you fucking lunatic. What is wrong with this guy, Sergio? Like, his brain is so rotted.
Groups of disaffected, disrespected men, what happens? They come together. They'll find and they're looking for and they'll collaborate around and they'll flock to a charismatic leader, and they won't conform to your rules anymore, and they won't conform to social niceties, and they will do whatever they want to do. And the result is very clear. What do you think the consequences of this are? I don't know what the solution is. I can't control the world. I can't educate everyone's children. I can only look after my own. I've done the best that I can with my own, understanding that I have a responsibility to God and a responsibility to society.
Yes, Cody, your responsibility is to shut the fuck up and leave us all alone, please.
What a freak.
He is a fucking lunatic, dude. I told you, this guy, he is like...
Surviving the housing crisis when I'm a multimillionaire.
Right. Well, so like what we haven't talked about actually, I actually kind of do feel bad for him, is that the property that he's on is currently like on fire. And
maybe that's God trying to tell him something.
Well, yeah.
It's all for a reason.
Well, I think, he would blame the forest workers for not clearing the forest floor, but not address the actual problem because that's who he is. But,
you can't clear the forest floor when nobody wants to do the job because it's so fucking dangerous.
As it turns out.
And you don't get paid very much to do it.
As it turns out. So I think this is actually the clip that I wanted to show you earlier, which when I was telling you that he's anti-Semitic.
Why would you tell someone never ever mix wool and linen? Does that make any sense? It didn't make any sense to me. Well, you want to hear something interesting?
Tell us.
I got to digging around in this. And
yes.
When Cody says he starts digging around on anything, I get real worried because I feel like his first thing that he goes to is Mein Kampf. Like, I feel like that's exactly where he goes immediately every time. What does Hitler have to say about this?
Mr. Mustache Man would be very upset about this.
Yeah. Apparently, he's always upset about something.
Study. This study was done, you can look this up yourself, in 2003 by a Jew doctor. Her name is Dr. Heidi Yellen.
Tell me that he is not an anti-Semite. Like, genuinely.
A Jewist?
Yes. A Jew doctor is what he says, is what he calls her. Instead of just like, a doctor who has her background, ethnic background, has nothing to do with her profession at all.
And in this study...
Oh, real quick. He's talking about this, and I think this is part of the series that he did about when he was talking about grounding his bed. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
All right, so check this out. He's got this thing where he doesn't wear shoes around his house because he wants to be grounded, and he wants to, he doesn't wear shoes around his property, in his garage, anywhere. He doesn't wear shoes except for when he goes out in public. That's what he says. I think that he actually wears shoes all the fucking time, and he's just a grifter, and he looks like he wants to look like an idiot, so he can get people to talk about him. But what he did, he read something about grounding your bed. So he tied a piece of copper off and wrapped it around his bed, and then plugged it into on a 3-prong plug-in. Well, he plugged it into the bottom part, the bottom hole of a 3-hole plug-in, so he could ground his bed for some reason. There's no actual benefit to this at all. But
why? Wow, why does he do it?
Because he's a fucking idiot. Why does anything do anything? Yeah. I guess he's just a moron.
This is what he does.
This is who Cody is. We're not going to finish the rest of that clip, but
it gets way worse.
Yeah. So we have 2 more clips that we're going to watch. He talks about the Uvalde shooting a bit in this video, but like most of his
168,562 people watched this video.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, it's a lot of people.
That's a lot of shit ton of people.
And he's got 2.5 million subscribers. I'm one of them, but only because I hate watching it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But basically, he starts talking about the Uvalde shooting, and then much like Alex Jones does, he turns it into a commercial, and it's basically him just showing you a bunch of stuff. And in fact, actually, while we're looking at the description, check this out. All of his Amazon links you can click and get everything that he's talking about, because he's just trying to fear sell you. That's all he's trying to do.
How much money of a kickback do you think he gets for doing that?
I have not looked into that. I can't imagine that.
That's probably not a lot, but
well, I can't imagine that Amazon would let them get anything over than 10%. I can't imagine that they would allow for more than 10%.
But I guess it depends on if you have 2.5 million viewers.
Yeah, and I guess if you're driving a lot of traffic to their website. Maybe they reward you for that. Maybe it's based on like affiliate links and things like that. I don't know. I'll look into that. That's a really good thought.
I've been asked to weigh in on Texas, and I will because I do have a dog in the fight. My little baby is 4 years old, and although we homeschool, we have a very excellent local public school here that she is oftentimes involved with in arts and crafts and classes.
So it seems like such bullshit. A wonderful public school. That sounds like
it's antithetical to everything
exactly.
he believes. So here's what I think. I think that she actually goes to the public school, and then like sometimes they do like lessons on the weekend where like they do like Christian, like remember like I think I told you about this. His wife, Mrs. Wranglerstar, Jessica is her real name. She sells and she shills homeschooling material too. Like that's part of her deal too. So she sells it too. So here's what I think happens.
What a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Seashell, she shells.
Down by the seashore. I think what happens as they do Sunday school lessons and that he counts it as a part of like a homeschooling curriculum. That's what I think is.
I think somebody would have outed, like a teacher would have outed and say, "Oh yeah, his kid goes here. Look, here's a video of him picking up his kid."
But would you be able to like violate that privacy? Can you do that?
I mean, I feel like TMZ would finds out
TMZ
everything.
Doesn't give a shit about this guy.
Comark can suck it.
So this could possibly affect me like someone else. Reports are starting to come out that from the initial call, I think it was at 11:30, and this may change, and this may not be true. This is just what's out right now as of this morning. That from the time of the first 911 call to contact with the Savage was an hour and a half. Now it's easy to point fingers at law enforcement, Lord knows. However, I think that there was no shortage of brave men and women that would have been willing to do whatever it took to stop this threat. But they're bound by policies of their department. Now, as civilians,
I'm pretty sure, and if you can remind me and refresh my memory if I'm wrong here, Sergio, but I'm pretty sure there are no policies that restrict police officers from going into an active shooter situation to neutralize the situation.
Yeah, I'm
pretty sure the policy is neutralize the threat.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I was tracking correctly there.
Yeah.
We are not bound by policies, and it's time to.
We kind of are.
They're called laws.
And we can talk about what's the fix, but there is no fix.
Oh, that's the beauty in this. There is no fix, by the way. He doesn't believe any federal legislation or state legislation should be enacted to change these things. So you could probably imagine, like, if you extrapolate that out.
It's just the liberals trying to get your guns.
Yep.
The reality is that the genie is out of the bottle, and we can we can expect more. So do we just go with what's been not working, or do we become proactive and try to do something about it? This is a Bofang radio. A lot of you guys are going to have these. Very few of you have programmed them or know how to use them. I understand that.
You can go to this link if you want to, and you can buy that radio. And then all the other things he's going to show you over the next 20 minutes, nearly 20 minutes of this video, you can go and buy every single one of these things, including body armor for your fucking kid.
At fuckwranglerstar.com.
Like, it's just, all he does is turn a tragedy into a selling opportunity. Here he is in it's a YouTube short. You're going to love this because you're going to learn so much from a YouTube short. Another YouTube short for Sergio.
Oh man, maybe I'll be able to have my PhD in something else.
Oh, this has got no words to it at all. It is just him outfitting a gun.
Oh, before you do this, did you see that like the commander in the Navy got fired because there's a picture of him firing a gun with the scope backwards?
Yeah, with the scope going backwards like an idiot.
And he got fired for it. That's insane.
Yeah. See, people who actually take gun safety seriously actually know what they're talking about. Not fucking lunatics like this piece of shit.
That it's crazy.
So what he's doing is he's outfitting a gun, an AR-15. You know, the ones that were used at the Uvalde shooting or, any other school
Las
shooting.
Vegas shooting.
Yeah, he's going to show you how to outfit it so that you can make it more lethal. The thing he was just talking about, not being able to, not having something you can do about it. You could, I don't know, not do this. He's putting a fucking silencer on it?
It's just
lasers, flashlights.
See, it's so disgusting to see this on
YouTube.
On YouTube,
yep.
And seeing a guy.
How many times do you think I've reported this video? Like seriously, like genuinely.
I can't believe like this one's even on, especially after all the things that happened. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. It's tragically frustrating because it's got 7.2 thousand likes on this video. 350 people have commented on it, but like, you know, if you look at this fucking like two things. One, remember I told you that he doesn't wear shoes. He's clearly not wearing shoes in this video because he's such a dick. But like, yeah, again, like you said, this has got nearly 100,000 views on it, 7.2 thousand likes. I don't know how those numbers work out, but I guess maybe not as many people liked it as I thought they would. But like, he's got like
that's still 7,000 people like somebody making an AR-15 more lethal and quieter, and with scopes on it with night vision. I mean,
it's disturbing.
That's super disgusting because there's that there's somebody that's gonna go and replicate it.
Yeah, and there's a he shows you like goes through like, okay, this is how you turn it on, blah blah blah. Like he doesn't say anything, and I think he uses that as a way to avoid like the YouTube censors and like the algorithm. Because if you look at the video title on this, what was the name of the video title here? It was, I'm going to regret uploading this, but here we go. Right? Like it is all about, this will max out.
You can't believe what she does, but you have to wait till the end.
Yeah. It's clickbait bullshit. But like in this case, like he's actually showing you how to become a more dangerous mass shooter if you want it to be.
And being like a tough guy and being able to show him, playing with a gun.
Yeah. What do you say we take a quick break?
Yeah.
And we'll be right back.
Yeah.
So, this is the last thing we'll talk about with Cody before we wrap this thing up with him. So, his property, and I've talked about this. I've kind of alluded to this in the past that, like, if you wanted to, you could find Cody. He's not like in the middle of nowhere. His property is part of something called the USDA Forest Stewardship Program, and you'd think somebody who's anti-government wouldn't want to be associated with something like this. Because he's because he's associated with this program, his address is very public because it is on public land. You can Google Street View it if you want it to. And out front of his home, there is a not so small, not so insignificant sign noting that his land is a part of this forest stewardship program. Land is part of the forest stewardship program. So the anti-state guy is very much into the government.
So what's the benefit of him being part of this program?
So glad you ask. It's an awesome partnership between state, local, and federal agencies working cooperatively together to manage woodland forests.
That sounds so communist right there. All right, comrade.
So they manage woodlands, forests, watershed properties. It's an incredible program. And if I actually start looking at properties like this, like, oh, where else in the country is this? And how can I get in on this? Because this seems really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that our tax dollars go towards a program like this. I would just imagine that a guy like Cody would not want to be a part of this, sucking from the teat of the state. Like, he's a part of this. He gets kickbacks as a result of working with the FSP.
More like the FBI.
Yeah, seriously. What a fucking, how many other, fucking CIA agent over here. He might be a part of a counter. Some
double agent.
Yeah, I think he might be. So, Sergio, the last time I was out camping in Washington State, I was camping in a place called White Salmon, Washington, which is on the other side of the Columbia River Gorge, about 40 minutes outside of Portland. And they've got on one side of the bridge, which is where in Oregon is like where Full Sail Brewing is at?
Yes.
So it's in that region of Washington State is where he lives. So he's not in the middle of nowhere. Like, where that brewery's at. Mm-hmm. he's not in the middle of nowhere. He is very, very much tethered to the rest of society.
Like, is that close to Bend, kind of that area?
Oh, no. This is like
east of the mountains.
No, you're not. You haven't quite cleared the Cascades yet.
Then I don't know. I know Full Sail beer, but not.
Okay, so Full Sail Brewing is like. All right, let me say this. Do you know where the Cascade Locks are in Oregon? Like the Bridge of the Gods and all that?
Nope.
Okay.
Never been there.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it's a great walk. Part of the PCT, the Pacific
Pacific Crest Trail.
Yeah, dude. Love it. So he's like east of that by about 20 minutes. Okay. Maybe 30. But you can very, very quickly get to his place from Portland if you wanted to. And it is not a secret. They've got all their tax documents online because they're part of this federal program. They've got all of their tax documents online because they're a registered LLC. And so they've got their PO box, their actual address, everything you want. And I'm not doxing them, but I'm just saying, if you are a
do they have to do that
to register as like an LLC? Yeah. You have to register your an address. But like when you look at part of like the FSP, they list all the addresses that are a part of it. And if you look at clues from the videos that he shoots, you can very quickly figure out where he's at. He's
not that I've ever done it.
I would never do anything like that. And it is one of those things where if you are afraid of the government and you are afraid of, people coming after you, and you're a prepper and you're this guy who's always prepared and it's like is acting as if you're living outside the boundaries, maybe don't put your shit on the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe don't be a part of these federal programs, and maybe don't take PPP money during COVID, which allowed for you to buy the property that not buy the property, but the home that you're living in, and also allow for you to buy all those new fun toys that you have.
Jesus.
So
God.
He's such a fucking annoying dick, and like everything he does makes me angry, but like the whole like, oh, I'm an independent man who doesn't need anybody to do anything for me. That's all it's a shell game. Mm-hmm. He is just moving shells around and hoping that you lose focus.
Yeah, it's just trying to get money.
That's all it is.
And
it's
feed
a grift.
his ego to see how many likes he can get.
Yep, it's a grift. It's all a grift.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Sergio, I think that's where we're going to leave it, man. How do you feel now that we've gotten to this final chapter?
Oh, I feel like I need to take a shower. It's
so gross, isn't it?
I mean, we went through kind of the whole wave continuum with him where you kind of felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
Then you're like, what the hell? And then you're like, oh my God, he's saying that gross. And you just go through all these emotions and it's really complicated to just see where people's journeys have them end up at. And so with him, his background and all the trauma he went through then just propagating lies and it just all the racist thing he says and building guns and how to make them more lethal and just feeding shit to people that are going to take that to heart and just try to reenact it. Yeah. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Like we need to do that.
Yeah. I was thinking about this today while I was at work, and
God, why the fuck are you thinking about this shit while you're working, dude?
Because my brain's broken. It's fully broken at this point.
Do like a happy show or something.
Yeah.
It's not as fun.
Yeah. That's not nearly as fun. It's not nearly as much material for me to look into. I was thinking about it, and I was just like, man, this is a guy who, to your point, like you do go like through the wave continuum, to use your phraseology there. Like you go, oh, this guy, he's kind of rough. Oh man, but I can see why he was this way too. Fuck me, dude. You are just a racist dick.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're a violent racist dick. Oh my God, you're advocating for potential overthrow of the government kind of dick. Like it's.
Oh my God, you're an idiot. You're just showing how big of an idiot you are.
Right.
Not even following your own advice.
Right. Yeah. Stay off the internet. Do yourself and all of us a favor. Stay off the internet. If you really are worried, if you are really like the guy that you say you are, maybe don't do this stuff.
Yeah.
Also, don't do this stuff.
No, just don't do this.
Just don't do it anyway. It doesn't don't care who you are.
You can prep, you can do your stuff like that, but you don't need to broadcast it to everybody else and say crazy stuff.
There's so many channels on YouTube where they show you how to like do canning and like how to like effectively till land and be a proper like homesteading prepper, where you can like avoid, like, I don't know, like food shortages. Like, and that's a very real deal. Like, as we are now within 5% of arable land in the topsoil, we have 5% of arable topsoil left in the world.
That's crazy.
Food shortages are going to be a real deal. Cody, start talking about that and what we can do to stop these things from happening.
They're after us.
Greg, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm right behind you. It's just like this.
They stuck the probe up my ass too.
Oh man. Well, Sergio, we gave our last thoughts on this guy. We're closing the chapter on this guy. So we're going to leave you with the earworm, but make sure you check the show notes for artist credit and the rest of the show notes. Next week, we talk about the end of the world as we know it.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait.
Let's bring it on.
Oh, it's going to be so good. I hope.
Be well.
Email us if you have something you want to hear more about or corrections of something we've said at theextremes@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on Twitter at theextremespod. Make sure you register to vote, folks, and vote like your fucking life depends on it, or like your child's life depends on it, or one of your nieces or nephews, or your neighbor's children's lives depend on it.
Or the existence of the world.
Because it absolutely fucking does. Until next time, beloved, act appropriately.
Still going bad on them anyway. Saw you last night, but did it broad day. Yeah, a lot of murk caught me in a hard way, but got a sticky and I keep it at my dog's place. Girl,